Hello, hello, hello.
Start, and now I know where to go find that.
Hi. Who do we? I'm driving today, so I can't really look at the screen. Who do we have here?
Hello, hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Fernando. It's Orly.
Hey, Orly, what's happening?
Ah, everything. Lots of good things.
I love to hear that. I love to hear your voice. Thank you for being here with us this Monday morning, this
Thank you.
Ecosystem Emerging Mastery Monday. Who else do we have on the call here?
Good morning. It's Jamila from North Carolina.
Hey, Yamile, North Carolina. Oh my goodness, I love your energy. I feel your energy through Instagram. I feel your energy anytime I see your name. So, like everyone on this call, let's love the no hesitation and let's jump in. Yamile, I love that energy. What's happening? What's present for you?
The biggest thing that's present for me is that this ecosystem brings that out of each one of us, right? Like Orly, I just heard you graduated from cooking. Who does that when they're blind? You defied the odds. You said, heck no, I'm blind, but I can cook, and you made badass dishes. Congratulations.
I appreciate that.
That's beautiful. That is so beautiful. Thank you.
I just want to share that. I apologize, Fernando. I just want to share that seeing truly comes from within and from all your other senses, not just the eyes.
And that I have faith. That is,
Yeah.
that lands very well. Thank you for that wisdom. You know, we're blessed to be around superhumans like everyone on this call, and yourself, Orly, and Sean. So it is definitely an honor to know that things like that, you know, exist. Robert Bannister ran the 4-minute mile, and then since then, hundreds of people have ran it. Jared shared that with us this morning, and it was a reminder on how when we're around this constant momentum, growth, superhuman ability all the time, our level of mastery rises. Here's for everyone that's early. I've learned that there's 3 ways to like really hyper your learning on mastery. I'm talking about months instead of years. It's a full-time commitment. It is no intellectual entertainment. And there's 3 things. Number 1 is constant proximity around, for me, it was Sean. It was constant proximity around someone that speaks the language, like all the time, asking questions, books of notes. I have about 8 to 9 books of notes just on Sean speaking. So it was constant proximity. Number 2 was teaching the language. Teaching the language has been so far the fastest. And then I found a 3rd one, which is being around a team of people that know the language. Nothing has sharpened my language more than being in the Nerve Center with Adam, with Tyler, with Chaz, with Krista, with Darcy, with Tiffany, with Ryan, all of them at the same time speaking and being in the formula. That has been the fastest catalyst. So those that are wondering like what the formula is, how do I learn it? The Facebook is a beautiful access point. Then there's these calls. And there's 3 access points. 1 is being around proximity, around one person with the language, and constantly taking notes and asking questions. Number 2 is committing yourself to training on the formula. And number 3 is being around the team, creating a group somewhere, something, your own ecosystem, bringing them to January 10, 11, and 12, and creating a team around you that's in the formula. That turns months into years as far as speed. So I'll stop with that. Any thoughts? Anything anyone's present to? We have about a minute before Sean jumps on.
Just good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, dude, what's happening, Jay? How was Friday for you?
Dude, Friday was unbelievable. I think one of the biggest moments for me on Friday, and there was a lot of big moments on Friday, but this is like a humbling big moment, was when Jacqueline Franchetti like seeked out to find me and my wife to say hello to us. Like, to me, that was like, I was like, wait, you're looking for us? but you're the one we should be looking for to say hello to and tell you how amazing you are. So like, that was a really humbling moment. And it's no surprise to me. I actually made a connection there at the party to somebody who, you know, I don't know exactly if they're on the calls, but it's one of Sean's close friends. And it's just no surprise to me. It's not confusing whatsoever to see why this person is friends with Sean and to see why Sean is friends with him. I mean, just he's in a totally different field, but his outlook on how to treat people and how to grow his business and relationships was like spot on. So what's even better about the community than just meeting people is meeting people that literally have the same values and ideals and drive, and they want to get to the same point that we do. So it's like, it was just unbelievable. It was very, very cohesive. We spent like an hour and a half on the phone, like accidentally. All of a sudden it was dark out, and I'm standing in my kitchen. There's no lights on, and I said, I think I gotta go. I think we gotta continue this another day. It's Sunday. I gotta hang with the family. But it was you know, it was just not confusing whatsoever, and it's really amazing to be able to meet people. And proximity is power. And what you just said hit me hard, Fernando. So it looks like you're going to be hearing a lot from me, because I'm going to be trying to learn your language.
That's awesome, and that's beautiful. And your leadership is so felt, and it's such an honor, you know, to have you in here and have your constant energy. Consistency is a very beautiful skill. So thank you to you, and I'm glad that you had that fabulous experience on Friday. It was awesome seeing you and the wifey out there. It is 8:32, Sean.
All right. Good morning and happy Mastery Monday and Ecosystem Merger Monday. And I think after Friday, we'll call it Magical Monday. So is that you, Fernando?
That is me, Sean.
So what was present for you on Friday night, my friend? And I'm presuming most of the folks were there. If you weren't there, what was present for you?
It was, Jay was just sharing, you know, his magical thoughts on ecosystem merging. And what was present for me was, one, that beautiful word, magic. That was definitely present there. The wider range of people, like everyone that, you know, for example, I'll speak myself, that I've seen from January to now in all walks of life. You know, we're in one place, looking forward to meeting each other, having a good time, you know, being on the dance floor, being in conversation. You know, there was just so many things going on. Your acknowledgement to Siri and Beck was just astronomical. And you did what you did on that crowd all the time. You were the most on fire I've ever seen, and your ability to articulate your words and let everything land, and the flow and the syntax of the whole conversation was magical. So that's what I'm present to.
And I want to thank everybody for being here. I know it's we're in the middle of the Hanukkah, Christmas, and holiday season, and so much happening, you know, for everybody. I'm so thankful for people being here this morning, for being here consistently, and for what we're doing in the world. And I couldn't be more thankful for just everybody that made Friday night so incredibly magical and special. Just, there were so many people, guys, that got on airplanes to come. And I mean, what a gift that people gave with their time, their love, their energy, their contribution. And that was a collective group of people bringing so much magic, so much love. And I was very present to the reality that minor distinctions mean everything. We talk about it all the time. But the difference between having a fun club energy and, you know, it being different vibrationally versus loving, connected, higher vibrational, magical, which I am very certain is what we're standing together in and representing on Friday night, was such a beautiful thing. Like, I'm so thankful and so proud to have my children there and their friends, and people had fun. You know, people had drinks, people had magic, people were crazy, people danced, people let loose, but it just had such a higher vibrational, connected, positive, loving energy. At least that's what I was present to. I mean, Rob Gill, you out there, brother?
Yep, I'm here, brother. Just had to unmute.
Hey, so what was present for you as far as Friday night?
What was present, speak from my standpoint over the last 2 years, and then where it led to on Friday night, which was just an exponential growth in relationships, in the moment of a launch that has a movement that has gravitational pull that is exponentially growing on a daily basis at this point.
Yeah. And it's about the we. It's not about any person. It's not about any group of people. It so unbelievably felt like it was about the we. And, you know, people want to be a part of something bigger than themselves. But I think also people don't just want to be a part of something bigger than themselves. They want to contribute, and they want to add to, and they want to feel like they're a leader as well. And that
Absolutely.
was just so present, that night, and just remarkable. Anything stand out for you, or anybody? We could open it up, but Rob, stay with me. Was
what I noticed,
yeah.
I'll tell you what I really, when I think about what I saw, at one point I saw you with your 3 kids dancing. And as a parent, this is where, anyone that's a parent, I have 3 kids, 14, 12, and 8. And the way that the 4 of you were connected with each other, I thought was incredible. I really did. I mean, that's an unconditional love right there. And you just fast forward 20, 30 years from now, and there'll be no coincidence when you see whatever happens. You know what I mean? The connections in the room I thought were unbelievable. I really feel like a lot of people that have been part of this movement are understanding the language that Fernando talks about. On some level, it's degrees versus other people that understand it, but I think that there's definitely a feel that something magical is happening, not just that night, which was awesome, by the way, but really that there's in the world of AA, we call that we've arrived. And I just feel like the degree of mastery and everything that's happening going forward right now, the trajectory is unbelievable. It was so good that I honestly, this weekend, and I took my son to the Jets-Steelers game, but I did a lot of work on material. I did like probably 6 to 8 hours of writing because I was so motivated after what I saw happen Friday night. I really did.
Wow.
A lot of stuff. Unbelievable.
Well, thank you, brother.
That's what I was present to as a result of it.
Yeah, I'm sorry that my Jets beat your Steelers.
Trust. Very tough loss. Very, very tough loss.
And honestly, right, like it did nothing for the Jets. It was like, in fact, I want them losing now to get a better draft pick.
Actually, can I say something? 2 years ago, before we started this journey, I was that fan that literally punched the TV when the Steelers lost to the Cowboys 4 years ago. I was that fan that, my one son who hates the Steelers and my other son that loves the Steelers, when they have their battle and Pittsburgh lost, I, for a split second, blamed my son that the Steelers lost. That's who I was.
Oh, my God.
You know what I mean? I would tell, yeah.
No, and for those that don't understand what we're talking about is how we could look to escape from our own life.
Yeah.
And I love the Mets. I love the Jets. I have such beautiful family memories with them. But we do talk about in some of the formula how we can lose ourselves in something that is just sort of really disconnected from ourselves as a primary source of our life, as opposed to building team and love and our collective growth, connection, love, energy coming out of something that affects our day-to-day life very differently than a sports team or something else. So
can I add to that, though? Because I want to honor you, brother. So 2 years ago, and this is when we first went on our journey, right? This was January 2 years ago. I had met you 3 months before that. I took my wife and my 3 kids out to the Steelers playoff game when they played the Jaguars. So the Steelers were heavily favored to win the game, and they were down 28-7 by the end of the second quarter. And my one son looked at my other son and blamed him. And in that moment, that's when I removed myself from being the crazy Steeler fan and just became a father. And even yesterday when they lost, there was no craziness. And that, to me, just so everybody knows, I don't know if anyone knows this, but I come from a violently competitive sports background. That's how I'm going to describe it, a violently competitive sports background, where I grew up and who I've been around. And for me to not feel those angst and pains and emotional hangovers and actually come home and do 4 hours of writing last night speaks directly to the formula. That's my point.
Yeah. Thank you, brother. And it speaks to, within the formula, your ability to channel that beautiful energy towards something constructive for not only your family, but for your ecosystem in the world.
Yeah, replace a disempowering belief with an empowering one. Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So a couple additional quick things. I mean, I thanked a host of people on Friday night, and certainly Nicole did an incredible job. But I was remiss in a couple ways. So one, and this was an oversight that bothered me across the weekend, and I posted about it on Facebook as well. I neglected to mention Tiffany's contributions. So that also does not happen without Tiffany and her being the engine behind everything on social media, and being ready to answer the bell at 3 o'clock in the morning at whatever time. So just absolutely tremendous, never endingly contributing massively. And one of my chuckles was Tiffany saying, because Tiffany knows like everybody and she's so wired into everything, she's like, there's so many people there I didn't know. And like when Tiffany is like saying she doesn't know them because she like stalks Facebook like a lunatic and knows like everything that's happening. So that was very humorous to me that Tiffany didn't know a bunch of people. So that was an oversight. And also, that
Mona, is a leading indicator in the economic world, by the way, just so you know, a leading indicator.
What is that leading indicator, Rob Gill?
Explosive growth is upon us. That's what that means. It's not a lagging indicator. It's a lead that she doesn't know certain people, and she's on the inside of the inside of the inside.
Yeah. No, I agree that it's exponentially expanding when the people that know people don't know people.
The lagging indicator was the actual Christmas party.
Right. Got it. Thank you, Rob Gill. Look at Rob Gill dropping wisdom on a Monday morning. Thank you, brother.
Every once in a while, I'll drop nuggets.
No, you're genius. And I also want to thank Mona for her support and just contributing. That was a wildly complicated. Let's just be real. It was a wildly complicated environment for me. I've never experienced anything quite like that. You're in a space where you want to love and give and contribute to everyone. And every time I moved, there were like, somebody was so beautifully coming up and sharing. And then there was 3 people immediately behind them, at least, to share more. And so it was a really complex scenario of wanting to appropriately, connect and appropriately, execute different pieces of things. And whatever I was, I was going to see a family member or going to see somebody to connect and not wanting to have anybody feel overlooked. And then there's Mona, and, I was there to, certainly spend time and connect with her as well. And it was her support, her understanding, her contribution to all that, I was massively appreciative of. And it was, under any measure of anything, it's a beautiful gift, and it's complicated. And very candidly, one of the things that sits and has sat in my space about making decisions about launching forward with Unblinded has been knowing that there will be things that are sacrificed and given in the process. And one of the things so on the surface, of course, it all looks beautiful and wonderful, but I watch people that I love and care about. Like I watch Bruce Springsteen and study, his interviews, his approach to life and what he's up to, and Tony. And when I'm around Tony, I even have more proximity to Tony in these smaller and larger settings. And I watch, him navigate the desire to contribute and connect with every person, and just the absolute literal mathematical inability to do it. I mean, you can't connect with everybody. You can't give everybody the time that you'd love to give and that they would love to have. And so it's complicated, and so that I felt such a massive blessing, but there was a lot of time when I felt, conflict of like, okay, how long can I stay in this conversation? And then what do I do? There's like, I got to get over here and there's 3 more people there. And so it's a growth area and a learning experience. And again, I'm massively grateful to Mona's support in it and understanding in it, because it would be very easy to, for Mona and other people to have made it about like, themselves. So I'm hugely grateful for that as well. So with that said, are there anybody want to share any? I always enjoy like ridiculous things, like any funny, like I heard that there was one of the elves was being naughty, and we're not going to delve into that in too much depth, but I apologize for the naughtiness of the elf, although I do chuckle. it wasn't like touching people or anything, but he was doing some interesting and silly things. And I had absolutely expressly told all of our beautiful friends from the North Pole that it was all higher vibrational and none of that. But there was one elf, I think, that did not get the memo. Rob Gill, we had a naughty elf in the midst. So, and I blame you for not controlling that, Rob.
I had no idea.
Yes. So, all right. Does anybody have any wins, funny moments, magical moments, touching moments, anything that they'd like to share from Friday night? We'll stay with Friday night for a minute.
Yeah, Sean. It's Jamile.
Hey, Jamile, how are you?
Wonderful.
And you were a rock star in the after party, rocking the bar, supporting people, and you touched my heart so deeply, I can't even tell you. So what's cooking?
Well, what you just did, now that is the magic why I'm here. Because with my master's degree, led a school in North Carolina, I was always being, in a way, tweaked, like not good enough. Still keep on searching for the better you, because you're never going to be enough. Or at least that's what I thought. But in this ecosystem, the way you just portrayed like how you're wanting to grow, even though you're the one that invented or started this movement, right? And that's so humbling. And so that's what it makes me want to learn even more. And I'm sorry, my teenager is driving me somewhere. So forgive me for that. But just being able to eat Twizzlers with you on the floor, that was even more of what this ecosystem is. It's all about humility and loving at the deepest level. And so I just thank you for that. I mean, my husband and I, Casey and I, drove 10 hours to get there, and we got there at 11:30. We thought we had missed it, and then we saw the naughty elves. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, we saw the life and the breath of what this ecosystem brings. So I thank you for that. And our win was that we challenged ourselves after talking to Adam and saying, if we think we can't, we must show up. So I just really want to challenge people as well. Come in January 10th, 11th, and 12th. Come see the beauty that Sean, that Mona, that Fernando, that Rob Gill, that Adam Gugino has made, so that we all can grow together, and not out of like, because we have to or we're bad, but because we're beautiful human souls wanting to connect. So thank you so much.
No, thank you. And that's such a beautiful message. And there'll certainly be videos of the opening ceremonies that are going to be going up later today that we'll be sharing. So I'm excited to share that with you and everybody who didn't see it. And separately, I was speaking with Tiffany this morning just getting ready for a few things. And I think this is the spirit that we talk about in our constant and consistent growth mindset. We're talking about Day with Destiny, and at Day with Destiny, we had such beautiful things that happened from the stage, and I was very honored to have the opportunity. I was thrilled with the outcome, but now when I watch the Day with Destiny video, I watch it through the prism of gratitude. I do have pride for what happened, and I have I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to make this exponentially better now, and not feel bad about it. But I'm like, I can't wait for business mastery, because I'm like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, like, here's what we're going to do. And of course, for January 10, 11, and 12, I'm thinking the same way. And that's what this is about. It's about loving ourselves, being proud, being grateful for what we've done, what we've achieved, what we've accomplished, and be like, all right, now I'm going to go like take this to the next level. Like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to work on this. I have a formula for it. And I could see that. I could have done this more optimally. And that's what this is about. While not diminishing what we've accomplished, not diminishing who we are, not diminishing our worthiness, our self-worth, our love, but still like playing a bigger game. Like, I'm going to now go break the record, because I know I can, for all of us and whatever we do. So thank you so much for that. And anybody else have anything they want to share from their heart in any way? Fun, funny, loving, magical, anything out there?
Sean, it's Craig. I got something
Craig, what's up, brother?
Share. What's going on, Sean? I missed you as you guys were walking out. I woke up and I saw you guys just finishing breakfast. Holy cow. I don't think I've ever had that much energy being up for 25 hours. The word magical doesn't even come close to it. And people that I've come back and spoke to about, and it's funny because everybody who saw me go into it and knew I was going to it, it was like, oh, he's not going to a Christmas party, he's going to a holiday party. Okay, they'll be like everybody's holiday. I was like, no, it was a Christmas party. it was full on Santa, elves, Frosty the Snowman, like it was Christmas. But the thing that really hit me so hard, and I keep playing it over and over again in my head because it was so impactful, was there were multiple times, and I told you about this, and I just wanted to share this with everybody. There were so many times I walked into the center of the tables and I looked around in all the corners of the room and throughout the room where everybody was just connecting. And talk about higher vibrational frequencies, like you literally felt that energy coming from everywhere. And I saw people coming up to you, and I saw people going up to Rob and Michael and everybody who had a part in creating the night. But everybody was really connecting with anybody. They just bumped into each other, and all of a sudden the conversation started. They never met, and these deep conversations were happening everywhere. I even got into a couple of conversations where somebody I knew, and I didn't even want to stand there or like introduce myself or say hello because there was so much going on. There was such deep connecting happening. And at a certain point in time, I was able to just stand and watch, and I put my hands on my heart. And there were points in time when I wanted to cry because it felt so powerful just watching.
Thank you for that, Fred, brother. And can I ask, thank you. And can I ask, or see if you agree with this? What I was so committed to, what we were so committed to, was ensuring that it wasn't surface, it wasn't significance driven, it wasn't transactional, that it was in-depth, authentic, open, love, connection, growth. And I think we got there. In fact, I know we got there. And I think that's what you're representing in the feeling, that this wasn't, hey, let me be seen, hey, let me posture. It was just like loving, open, in-depth, amazing connection. Fair?
More than fair. More than fair. There was a couple of conversations I had with people who I'd never met, and it was literally just happened since I was talking to one person, somebody else happened to walk over, that the first person walked away, and the second person and I got into a conversation, and I heard about them going through a transition in their life that I got so excited for them. I like asked if I could give them a hug because I was so happy for them that they were at this point in their lives. And again, there was 2 minutes ago, I never met this person before. And this happened repeatedly throughout the night. So yeah, and the next day I got to sit down with Ty and his friends, and they're just amazing. I mean, Tyler, you know what I think about Tyler. But even his friends are like, oh my God, these guys are just, I was so happy to be around.
Craig, you make such a beautiful point. Because, there were so many young men that I had coached in club baseball with Tyler, and then Tyler's friends from high school as well. And the level at which they just want more. And people could be like, oh, millennials, and they don't care. So I'm going to just rip this wide open, right? One of the conversations that was an ongoing, and it was such a beautiful bifurcation, because just in the historical narrative with Chris Crone and Promise and the creation of Proximity, originally that had some of the unblinded conversation in it. And before it was even called Unblinded, my formula conversation in it, our formula. And Promise was like substantially disinterested in live events. She's like, young people don't want to go to live events. Like, they're not interested. They don't want, like, this is just, ripping it wide open and sharing for real. And I'm like, okay. And so it ended up being this beautiful thing, because Proximity is incredible. I'm so excited about the launch. That's a story for a different day, but it left space for me to just do my thing on Unblinded, and with the formula and everything I was doing. And I literally thought about that as Tyler's friends and Emma's friends, my youngest daughter, were there, and the kids I coach in club baseball were there, and the outpouring of excitement and gratitude for them connecting with a real space of positive vibration energy. Like, people don't just want answers. People don't just want what they need. People don't just want efficiency. They want ecosystem. They want ecosystem of love, of magic, of connection. And they want higher vibrational ecosystem. Like, that is how we're created. That's what we want. And it's what we're providing. And that's what Friday night was. And it was so validating of that belief structure. And it's not just about ego, like I'm right. It's validating because it's good. It's validating because it's real. And we have such limiting beliefs about other people. Like, Malcolm Gladwell hits this so perfectly in Talking to Strangers. Like, we just make stuff up. Like, we make up millennials. We make up Gen Z. Like Socrates said, like, oh, the kids today, it's not the same, and like blah, 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 blah. Like, it's always been the same. It's always been like, oh, those guys over there, those other people. My kids, it's so funny, and I've confronted them on this and broke through. It's like, people in Tyler's group, not my kids, but their friends, they're like, oh, like Tyler's out of high school for 2 years. And his friends, I've heard them talking like, oh, high school's different now. The kids are just different than when we were there. Like, no, they're not. No, they're not. Like, there might be subtle distinctions, but it's always been the same. So rebellion today is for safe space for kids and, let's say being anti-Trump. Like, that's what a lot of college is about today. College was about, free speech and rebellion, 50 years ago. It's just a different message. It's the same energy. It's the same energy. And it's not saying we don't need to educate. We don't need to find higher vibrational agreement, but it's just the same dynamics and finding a way to create a space of channeling all that beautiful energy together into merging ecosystems and being a force for good. That's what Unblinded is about. And Friday night was such a beautiful representation because you had the amazing Mike Crouppen. The dude's 3 weeks out of quadruple bypass surgery. He's at quadruple bypass open heart surgery. He's 3 weeks out, and he is tearing it up on the dance floor. Nicole is so tongue-in-cheek, hysterically, and awesomely lighting it up with him, in such a funny way. That video is out there in a beautiful way, right? Like, that's going on. And then you have, like, Derek, one of my son's best friends, who cannot stop talking about, like, what's happening there in learning and growth as though he has discovered fire. And he's a smart kid. He's doing a lot of things. He was at Fordham University. And it was like he discovered fire because he wasn't at a fraternity party chugging, beer and being ridiculous. And not that there's, anything wrong with that part of the life journey, right? But, maybe there is or isn't. It's a story for a different day. But it wasn't that. And yeah, people did shots, but it wasn't that, right? Like, it wasn't shots to get sloppy. It was like shots for connection. And it was like ice cream for connection. And it was people dropping from the ceiling that Nicole found, serving champagne for connection, and dancing with Mike Crouppen and his beautiful, wardrobe and insanity and fun. And like, it was higher vibrational ecosystem merger, being examples of what's possible and how we can treat each other and how we can love each other and what we could do, as opposed to posing and showing up and using and taking. It was giving. It was giving. 700 people giving. That's what I was present to. Anybody else present to that or anything else as we draw to a close? How about Jared? You out there, brother? Adam, Jared. Oh, who just unmuted? So many cards unmuted. Let's go there. Who's that?
Oh, it was Kelly.
Hey, Kelly. What's up? So you're amazing. You embody everything we're talking about. So what's happening, Kelly?
And that's exactly, besides I fell asleep at 6 o'clock last night and slept 13 hours straight. I want to say that what was present for me was, a lot of times when I'm out into, my world here in Florida, outside of the Tony Robbins and the Unblinded atmosphere, and, people assess me and they think she's whack, she's crazy. And you can't possibly have a group of friends that plays full out all the time. And I'm like, oh, yes, I do. And to be up there with, and I say this from every cell in my being with my family in this. Sorry, yeah, I don't want to cry, but
you can cry. Crying's totally legal here.
To be around people who get me and who just love me, and all of us collectively are on the same path, and it's so, oh my God, it feels so good. And that room was filled. You know, I have to go to a lot of events, and I know you've been down here in Palm Beach, and, you know, going to Mar-a-Lago and going to all the exclusive balls where there's just as many people who have paid as much as $10,000 a ticket to be there. But never in my life have I been in an atmosphere, in an arena where someone such as you has brought all of these like-minded, forward-thinking people who truly are so passionate about improving this world and improving the space that we live in every day. And so, like, I love you from the bottom of my heart for bringing all of us together and for allowing the space for us to thrive and find our tribe. So thank you, Sean.
No, Kelly, love you too. And you brought the word family so beautifully and perfectly into this conversation. And it's what it is. You know, we have family of origin, which can certainly be amazing and beautiful. And I'm so grateful for my family of origin biologically. And I'm so grateful for the family that I've chosen and has chosen me. So, and that's that. Thank you for bringing that into this conversation. And I would say, Kelly, that, and everybody, you know, it was a lot. And there are moments where I do feel the, like, wow, life could be really simple, and I could lay on a beach and I could surf, and I could, you know, have a very tiny and intimate ecosystem, which I've had, and not tiny. I mean, you know, 50 people in my house for Thanksgiving is not tiny. It's not 700. And Caligula, which is so beautiful. I'm so grateful. And that could be my life. And it could stop there. And there's a lot of people in my world, I think, that would prefer that it stop there beautifully, you know, and for me, and stress levels and challenges, and also, you know, for their own proximity and, you know, their own heart, nothing bad. And there's times where that question arises, you know, in me. And after Friday night, even on Saturday, there was some moments of just reflection, and, you know, a lot goes into it. And it's like, okay, am I ready for all this? And then yesterday morning, I went to see the new Star Wars movie with Tyler. My son, there's two of us. And Star Wars has such an unbelievable deep aspect of with my daughters and Tyler, but they were tired and they had seen it Thursday night already together. Tyler, Courtney, Emma went with their mom. And so, you know, I just went with Ty, and the girls wanted to sleep in. And I was sitting there watching the movie, and I'm not going to do any spoilers. You know, a human being on the face of the earth that loves people and light, go see Star Wars, the new movie. And I sat there thinking, like, this is like what we're doing. You know, like, this is what we're doing. And the darkness we're fighting against isn't a person. It's not a group of people. It's not the left or the right. You know, it's not these others. It's the darkness that's in ourselves and in other people. You know, and that's what we're moving against. You know, it is literally crushing fear and distortion. And that's what this movement is about. It's about breakthroughs and dreams. It's about realizing that, you know, life has pain and struggle. Any beautiful journey, if Siri Lindley is winning a triathlon, the training is brutal. The challenges are beautiful, and they're, you know, I mean, I'm sorry, they're brutal and they're beautiful. And so with all of it, you know, comes challenge, but that's the beauty and the growth of life. And so I was sitting in that movie, I had tears coming down my face at so many points, nostalgically reflecting on what it means for my kids and me and my family, you know, those movies and what they stand for. And I was also thinking literally of Unblinded. And it's not, you know, we're not fighting darkness and, you know, the dark side, but we are fighting the dark side. And it's not represented by a face. I don't want to judge people in it, but it's represented by even things that are in us, our fear, our distortion, you know, our pulls for significance, and not stepping, and we want to step into our greatness, but we don't want to be doing it to make other people less so we can become more. we want to be becoming more by making, co-creating more in others and inviting people to step in. And from every minute of Friday night felt like that. And I am so grateful. So with that said, I'm going to ask Jared, Adam for any final wrap-ups. And Kelly, thank you for that beautiful share. You touched my heart and soul. Thank you. And then Jared, Adam, you guys out there, any final perspective?
Sean, can I say one quick thing? Sean, it's
Heck
Hala.
yeah. Hala Jaludi is in the house.
Good morning. Good morning. Sean,
Good morning,
I
Hala.
would be remiss. I'm good. I'm great. How are you?
Awesome. Great to hear from you.
I have to give you a message from someone. So
Yeah.
Doctors Nina and Andrei Logvinenko were at our party. And Nina and Andrei are typically not people who like to attend events or Christmas parties related to, business. And I, of course, told them this is not the same. But I just want to tell you that Saturday, Nina called me and sent 3 text messages to ensure that I relay her gratitude and her thanks to you and Kalagi Law for including her in this. She had an amazing time. And this is, again, coming from someone who is not comfortable. And her words were, please relay to Sean how thankful I am and grateful. And I can't believe I missed the previous years. And please make sure I am always included on the guest list. And she said she felt so comfortable and at home and had an amazing time and wanted to make sure that I relayed that to you.
Oh, Hala, thank you. That is unbelievable. And my singular, and that sentiment was so present that, like, I had no idea what this was going to be. This is unbelievable. And I think the magic, and as Kelly just said, the family aspect to it was so present. Our only challenge is going to be, because that venue is so perfect, I never want to move. I don't know what we do from here, because I think we're about out of space. So that's its own interesting challenge going forward. So we'll have to figure that out, because I somehow have a sneaking suspicion that next year might be a lot more than 700. So we go from there. But thank you, Hala. And Jared, Adam, what's up, brothers?
Hello, everybody. So I wish everybody could see what I see right now, because we're sitting outside of the potential new nerve center, which is 35,000 square feet of just pure beauty and opportunity to mobilize this very special movement. But you'll see it soon. And I just want to honor every single one of you that were present at the event physically, or even just there with your thoughts, because I'm sure many of you were there with your thoughts. And everybody has already captured the experience. I mean, magical is an understatement. Transformational is an understatement. The heart and soul that went into that, Sean, from you and the rest of the team, it's absolutely extraordinary. And it's also a testament of where we're going. We have a unblinded team call right before this call each day. And we talked about it as well. And we said, it's so fascinating, because that was a 6-hour experience. And for those who are the after party, maybe a little bit longer, but January 10th, 11th, and 12th is like 30 plus hours. Let that land. Like, for those that were present, that feel that feeling associated with being with people that think the way that you think and are committed to life and transformation and growth. Imagine that, and then just like multiply it like 5 times over, just from the standpoint of time. And then like the immersion aspect of what's going to happen. And all that I can tell you is the Unblinded team in the Nerve Center is absolutely on fire. So if you get a phone call from them today, honor the call. They're coming with love and drive to ensure that you yourself are registered for January 10th, 11th, and 12th. And also they're going to try to like memory jog you a little bit to think about who else should be present with you. Like, who else should come to this experience and sit with you and learn with you and role play with you, and then go back home with you so you can integrate and synthesize. And even if they don't call you, I ask you to call upon yourself and who should be present with you. Here's reality. This event 100% will sell out, and I'm sure there'll be just people standing in the back, because that's the level of intensity and conviction we have for the experience. And I just want each and every one of you to be officially part of this movement. And that's what January 10th, 11th, and 12th is. This is the official. And to think that this company of Unblinded was like launched like weeks ago, and we're having an event with potentially like 2,000 people, like definitely over 1,500, somewhere near the 2,000 mark, because that's capacity, in such a short period of time. I don't know about you, but the one thing I can speak to is the Unblinded team is motivated to do things that have never been done before. But if I had to guess, every one of you fall into that category as well. So go on that journey with us. Make sure that you yourself are registered for January 10th, 11th, and 12th, and really spend like 5 minutes today and think about who should be present with you. Because if you were just at the holiday party, you're thinking like, oh my goodness, I wish this person was there and this person was there, it's gonna be that, just like 30 hours of it, January 10th, 11th, and 12th. So with that, Sean, my friend, you did it, man. I know that there was a tribe of people that supported that, and I just want to honor every single person that made Friday possible. The magic was off the charts, and I can't wait for our next opportunity to dig deep with every single one of you. So let's make it happen. Appreciate you all.
Yeah, hey, Jared, thank you so much for that share, and we'll wrap up in 2 minutes. Just my curiosity, was there anything, like, so, you know, going into the party, like I say, you know, Christmas and holiday party, like you were thinking and feeling, and then you experienced it. Was there anything that jumped for you that was even unexpected? And I know your expectations are extraordinary. Your ability to see things is just beyond. But was there anything that even surprised you?
Yeah, so I think I was talking about this with Lindsay last night. The single thing that surprised me the most was there was not one person, and I spoke to a lot of people. There was 0 people that I spoke with that had any ego. It is 100% about what we're co-creating together. I have never seen that before. Like, that doesn't exist other than within this movement. So that to me was like the single greatest takeaway. This is absolutely not about any one person or any few people. It is about the collective. And I do believe that one of the single greatest pains that people feel is the lack of sense of belonging. Like, they feel like they're on an island trying to do life. And if that's how people feel, this is the opposite of that, because you found your home when you're in this movement. But that was my single greatest takeaway. I was talking about Lindsay last night. There is 0 ego involved with this. This is about what we can build together. Every single person that shows up on the huddles, that's in the Facebook group, that was at the holiday party, and that's at January 10th, 11th, and 12th and beyond. This is about you as it's much about Sean and everybody else that's involved. There's 0 ego here. We're doing it together.
Yeah, and the space, thank you, Jared. That's a beautiful access point. And I would tell you, when I did this, when I ran my program in 2003, 4, 5, 6, I had a lot of success. Things went great, but an opportunity for growth I had in that time was, and it was just a subtle distinction, but of massive importance, was I think there's a little bit of me when I did my speaking of kind of liking to show in helping people see what they didn't see. I would make people wrong a little bit. And I think that's such a key access point, that we're not making people wrong. We're not making people wrong and see what they don't see. We're fighting fear and distortion. It's in all of us. And we're not engaging people's egos. We're loving people. We're connecting. We're showing people there's a formula for more. We're giving people choice. And I think that was so appropriately and phenomenally accurate, Jared. And that is something I've worked so hard on, because in the space of supporting people in their growth, it's easy to touch egos. It's easy to engage people's egos. And that is something I've worked my tail off in figuring out. And I'm still working on how to get better at it, but I've been working so hard at it, because I think it is so easy to do in the space of growth, making people wrong, engaging their ego. And as we share, about January 10th, 11th, 12th, it's never about making people wrong about anything. It's just about, hey, like, this is such a fun adventure to be on together as we grow together. And absolutely people should be there January 10th, 11th, 12th. But everybody is beautiful and worthy and complete as they are. Like, everybody is, as they are. And this isn't about changing people. This isn't about doing anything like that. It's just about growing. Like, no different than my beautiful coaches that were there. My freshman high school football coach, Lazop, was there. He had tears in his eyes. I was hugging him, thanking him for the impact he had on my life. And he never made us wrong for who we were. He just unleashed more within us. And that's what this is really all about. For anybody who wants to, it's not about saying you have to want more. And so, yes, Jared, thank you. And that has been such a delicate piece of this, and it continues to be. So thank you for seeing that, feeling that, and acknowledging that. Adam, any final, and then we'll take it home.
Adam had another call this morning, so he's not here.
He's a warrior and a machine.
Yeah.
So listen, then we'll wrap it there. I am super thankful. Let's continue to engage people. Let's be in the huddles together consistently. Thank you, Kelly, for sharing, Craig for sharing, Hala for sharing, Jared for sharing, Rob Gill, Fernando for sharing, and everybody who's done such beautiful and incredible things to make this happen. One more enormous shout out to Nicole for every attention to detail, from magical exploding pianos to people dropping from the sky with champagne, and I would hallucinate that not one person in that room, there was so much magic and so many fun, beautiful attention to detail items that not one person experienced all of them, which is just a testament to how many there were. Tiffany for making, with Chaz, and acknowledge him, for making the Siri and back connection work. That was a complicated thing that didn't seem like it was going to happen. Thank you for seeing that through and for everything. So have a beautiful Monday. We will be back on Christmas Eve for sure. Let's have a beautiful day. God bless, and thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sean.
Guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sean and team.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Great day.